Hare Krishna, and we're back with Raja Vidya, the King of Knowledge, by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Page number 87. Bhagavad Gita is the science of Krishna, and if we study it scrutinizingly, with all our argument, sense, and philosophical knowledge, we will come to know that science. It is not that we are to submit ourselves blindly. The spiritual master may be self-realized and situated in the absolute truth. Yet, we have to question him in order to understand all spiritual points. If one is able to factually answer the questions about the science of Krishna, he is the spiritual master, regardless of where he is born or what he is, whether he be a Brahmana or Shudra or American, Indian or whatever. When we go to a doctor, we do not ask him whether he is a Hindu, Christian or Brahmana. He has the qualification of a medical man, and we simply surrender, saying, "Doctor, treat me. I am suffering." Jai. So, doctor, treat me, I am suffering. Krishna is the ultimate goal of spiritual science. Of course, when we speak of Krishna, we refer to God. There are many names for God throughout the world and throughout the universe. But Krishna is the supreme name according to Vedic knowledge. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, as the supreme means for realization in this age. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not make any distinctions as to caste or social position. Indeed, most of his foremost disciples were considered to be fallen in society. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even appointed Haridas Thakur, a Mohammedan, as Namacharya, or preceptor of the holy names. Similarly, Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis, two of Lord Chaitanya's principal disciples, were formerly known as Sakar Malik and Dabir Khas, and they were employed by the Mohammedan government. In those days, the Hindus were so strict that if a Brahmana accepted service from a non-Hindu, he was immediately ostracized from Hindu society. Despite this, Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis were made principal authorities in the science of Krishna by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there is no bar against anyone. Anyone can become a spiritual master provided he knows the science of Krishna. This is the only qualification, and this science is, in essence, contained in Bhagavad Gita. At the present moment, thousands of spiritual masters are needed to spread this great science throughout the world. We should understand that when Krishna is speaking to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, he is speaking not simply to Arjuna alone, but to the whole human race. Sri Krishna himself declares that simply by knowing the science of Krishna, Arjuna would not be subject to illusion. Yajgetva na punarmoham. If we make a very good ship, we can easily cross the Atlantic Ocean. At present, we are in the midst of the ocean of ignorance, for this material world has been likened to a great ocean of nescience. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed to Krishna in this way: Ainandata noja kinkaram patitamam vishame bhavam budao kripaya tava pada pankaja stita duli sadrisham vichintaya. O son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servitor, and although I am so, Somehow or other, I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and fix me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Shikshashtakam, verse 5. If we have the boat of perfect knowledge, there is no fear, for we can cross the ocean very easily. Even if a person is most sinful, if he receives the boat of the science of Krishna, he can cross the ocean very easily. As stated before, Bhagavad Gita 4.36, it does not matter what we were in our past lives. Because we were in ignorance, we may have committed so many abominable actions. Indeed, no one can say that he is free from sinful activity. But according to Bhagavad Gita, this does not matter. Just by knowing the science of Krishna, one becomes free. It is therefore absolutely necessary that we seek knowledge, and the perfection of knowledge is to understand Krishna. Today there are so many theories, and everyone claims to know the best way to live. Therefore, so many isms have developed. Of these, communism has become very prominent in the world. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, we find the seed for spiritual communism. There, Nārada Muni explains that in this universe, whether one be in a lower, middle, or higher planetary system, or even in outer space, all natural resources are manifested by the Supreme Lord. We must understand that whatever exists in this world was not produced by any human being, but everything was created by God. No sane man can deny this. Sri Ishopanishad enjoins. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagad tena tyaktena bhunjita magrida kasya svidhanam. Quote, everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One must therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota. And one must not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Unquote, Sri Ishopanishad Mantra 1. Consequently, all living entities, beginning from Brahmā, the highest demigod, down to the lowest ant, have the right to use natural resources. Nārada Muni points out that we can use these resources as much as we require, but if we take more than required, we become thieves. Unfortunately, everyone is trying to conquer and predominate. Countries race to the moon in order to put up their flags and claim that planet. When Europeans came to America, they put up their flag and claimed it for their nation. This flag planting and flag waving is all due to ignorance. We do not stop to think where we are putting our flag. It is not our property, but God's. Knowing this is knowledge, and thinking that it is my property is ignorance. We have the right to utilize, but not to claim or hoard. If we throw a bag of grain into the street, pigeons may come and eat 4 or 5 small grains and then go away. They will not take more than they can eat, and having eaten, they go freely on their way. But if we were to put many bags of flour on the sidewalk and invite people to come and get them, one man would take 10 or 20 bags, and another would take 15 or 30 bags, and so on. But those who do not have the means to carry so much away will not be able to take more than a bag or two. Thus, the distribution will be uneven. This is called advancement of civilization. We are even lacking in knowledge which the pigeons, dogs, and cats have. Everything belongs to the Supreme Lord, and we can accept whatever we need, but not more. That is knowledge. Thank you so much for tuning in today. The link to this book is in the description. We're actually almost finishing the book, so stay tuned, and we shall see you next time. Hare Krishna.